everyone. Thank you for joining me on my podcast, Mad Poetry Mental Illness Reimagined. My name is Georgia Vrakis. I'm an academic, a clinical psychologist, and a bipolar woman. This podcast is a space where we can talk about mental illness and destigmatize it through poetry, lived experience, clinical and academic expertise. Today's episode is called Madness as a Space of Resistance. I will start first with a poem called The Little Blue Bird. If I were an animal, I would be a little blue bird, not a bluebird, but a bird that is blue. The little blue bird has been with me since I was 16 years old, or maybe before then, I don't really remember, but I do know that was the first time it appeared in my writings as Le Petit Oiseau Bleu, the title of my first ever poem. When I feel immense sadness, pain, or fear, my first thought is, I wish I was a bird, a very small, very tiny little blue bird, so I can fly away somewhere, anywhere but here, outside of myself, my body, my mind, unseen. Inevitably, as he flies away, Le Petit Oiseau Bleu hits a wall, a window pane, falls, and sometimes manages to pick himself up and fly once more. Albeit dizzy and disoriented, but determined to try again and again. And sometimes he can't. That little bird that is blue occupies a part of me that is ruled by emotion. Is that my heart, my brain, my belly? I do not know. All of the above and more? It is hard for me to feel those parts of me. However, I do know that the little blue bird likes traveling about. He is persistent, and despite his many falls, he has not broken a single bone yet. I still write about him. These days, he's a little quieter, resting maybe, gathering strength. God knows I have been called upon him a lot these past few years. A means of surviving the inescapable, always carrying me gently, always bringing me back to the physicality of my body and to those pesky emotions I never wanted to feel. So that's the poem I wrote a few years back, and I've written several poems named Le Petit Oiseau Bleu in French and in English, and they were all like sort of part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. But they always were about the same type of theme of flying away and getting away from the pain, but coming back always. So before we talk about resistance and madness, I want to talk about resilience, which is a concept we hear a lot about in clinical and research contexts. The American Psychological Association defines it as the process and the outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially those through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So what we can see in this definition is that it focuses on the individuals successfully adapting to difficult situations. But what if that situation is a whole system designed to oppress and marginalize, such as racism, ableism, saneism? Saneism, I will explain what it is because it's a concept that's important when we talk about madness, but it's not a topic that we much discuss in everyday life. So saneism is a systemic discrimination of the mentally ill and the mad. So basically, it's much like the other forms of oppression. It is created and maintained through the structures of power. So the question is, do we wish to adapt to systems that oppress and marginalize us, like racism, ableism, saneism, that wish to invisibilize us and wanting to normalize us, quote unquote? Honestly, I sometimes really do wish I could fit into that norm, into that mold. And because, to be honest, it'd be so much easier to live like that, to be able to fit in. And I know a lot of people feel the same way as me. Here, today, basically, I'm sharing with you a perspective of mental illness that is rooted in the MAD studies perspective and on my own experience as a MAD woman. I believe that for many of us, it is about surviving. It is about staying alive, sometimes literally, when we think about it, with all the suicide risks and completed suicides that are related to mental illnesses. So when I mean surviving, it's literally staying alive in the face of everything that's happening. So, which in itself is an act of resistance against the status quo, a resistance against the social norms, normalcy, again, quote unquote. We resist from within the margin of society where we have been relegated to. So as mad people, as mad women, as a madman, we are part of society, but not in it. We did not choose to be in that space, which Bell Hooks calls the margin. Yet we are there, and it is ours. It is in that space that we create new knowledge on madness and mental illness that challenges the dominant discourse. And we do that through a variety of ways, through academic research, through poetry, through music, theater, through podcasts, and through advocacy, among others. The margin does always remain a space of oppression because we were put in there by society. But it is also a space of openness and creativity. For me, it is not about adapting to the systems that oppress us. Believe me, I have been there and I have tried, and it does not work for me because I can't and I won't change who I am. For me, it is very much about surviving and resisting, and the new knowledge that we make together, we create together about us from within the very margins meant to silence us. I will end this episode with a passage from Bell Hooks' Choosing the Margin as a Space of Radical Openness from 1989, page 23. Silenced, we fear those who speak about us, who do not speak to us and with us. We know what it is to be silenced. We know that the forces that silence us because they never want us to speak differ from the forces that say, speak, tell me your story. Only do not speak in the voice of resistance. Only speak from that space in the margin that is a sign of deprivation, a wound, an unfulfilled longing. Only speak your pain. This is an intervention, a message from that space in the margin that is a site of creativity and power, an inclusive space where we recover ourselves, where we move in solidarity to erase the category colonize, colonizer. Marginality as a site of resistance. Enter that space. Let us meet there. Enter that space. We greet you as liberators. So this was Bell Hooks, Choosing the Margin as a Space of Radical Openness. I really recommend that you read it. I will write the entire reference in the episode description. So I really strongly suggest you read it. It is really amazing and opened my eyes on the questions of oppression and marginalization and the space that the margin is, and the space that the margin helps us create as the oppressed. So thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please send me a message. You can send me an email at themadpoetrypodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to learn more about today's topic, there's going to be a list. There is a list of references for you that you can consult in the episode description. Also, one last thing, please don't forget to follow my podcast. Till next time, have a great day, everyone.